PaperX may have figured out how to beat the Haven meta, because you see, what's been meta on Haven for the past 6 months to a year has been this Viper wall just here. Putting it across A lobby and B, it creates a lot of pressure out towards A because the defenders can't control A lobby, and also creates a bit of pressure out towards B. And this is a very difficult wall to deal with because it can go up and down throughout the round. If you're standing here out towards long, well, maybe they've crossed over and you don't know, which means that you have to keep 2 players here on A, which is very bad because then that opens up the rest of the map as well. So how can defenders try and deal with this wall? Well, you can try and be aggressive and get ahead of this wall, right? But that's quite difficult because look how far back it is, right? From where you start as the defenders back here, that wall's very, very far away to try and get ahead of it, right? On both sides, on long and short. So that's not very easy to do a lot of the time. The other thing you could do is just say, well, let's just ignore it. We'll play retake. We don't care. That's fine. But Viper provides another problem with that, in that the Viper will then put her Viper Orb here, and then you run into this problem as well, that trying to retake A through this Viper Orb and potentially a Snakebite in here is also incredibly difficult. So that was the problem that Viper was really posing a lot of these teams, and it was very, very difficult to ever break out of that cycle. So how did PaperX solve it? Well, they decided to play this comp. It's a very bizarre comp, right? You're playing Phoenix. You're playing Fade on Haven. That's not often seen. You're playing Chamber as well. You would have thought like Yoru plus Phoenix as well, also incredibly strange. All of this screams, yeah, pretty weird. But it manages to counter this Viper so well. Let's first start off here by looking at round number 4 and seeing how this comp deals with being aggressive against Viper.
打自己最喜欢的地方，放大个人能力嘛。对。虽然有时候前压会让人有点恼火，被提前规避掉了。太繁琐了，我自己冲出去杀完得了。但现在 A 通这波前推，其实 Walling 的位置，他其实是身处暗面的。他这个独木有点把完磊的视角挡了。A 小摸出来完全不知道，无声，金也不杀了，你走，哎。
So there's a couple of details here we need to note in how PaperX approached this round. Number 1, let's take a look at our Fade and Chamber out here, right? Because they did this quite a lot in this game. So you got the Chamber set up here, and they're going to Prowler out here early, right? So you're going to Prowler short here, and you're going to send the Chamber here. And because then we've got Chamber on this line, we can feel a bit more free to be aggressive. Yes, potentially someone has crossed here, right? That could have happened, but we've got our Chamber in a very powerful position now who can still escape, and we're in a good spot, right? So when the round starts to calm down and Devi isn't seeing anything, that then allows them to be more aggressive. Maybe Envy is a little bit fortunate here in terms of like the timing of this. The reason that they're so cautious here, like if you look at the pathing here of G2, like they have to path on this left-hand side of this because they're worried Devi is here. Ends up getting, you know, a lot of free kills from this, and obviously is able to then win the round. Right, and this is the thing, a lot of teams like G2 will, you know, insert someone over towards A, make a bit of noise elsewhere, then come back to their Viper wall. It's a very common thing to do, and you see how this comp is able to potentially dismantle that. Let's take a look at another example here from round number 11, and in this one, we get a very similar thing. This time you got 4 players out here towards A, but take a look. We got our Fade and Chamber again. Chamber, same setup, right? Prowler comes out to short. They get the Chamber set up on the line again, and again, we're ahead of that Viper wall. Right, we're ahead of that Viper wall, but now take a look at how PaperX, after they're going to get this first kill, they also manage to ping-pong the aggressiveness between each other, right? So we're going to get the first kill there on Leaf, and now just take a look at PaperX, how they ping-pong back as Devi has now TP'd back, but the others, they're still going forward.
闪身一枪就被秒掉了。打外的狙是快的，对。假身影响不大，虚晃一枪。 但是有人在勾出了，包也掉了。当时现在没有 TP， 但还有闪身 B 区有个贵宾现行 C 点，现在关键 C 场没人看，然后 Forsaken 要看车库和 C 场。回头枪管前路打第一个，接第二个，左肩到底，第三个没来得及。哦，没走。这个包是往他这个宝点是往 C 的。对，有一颗闪。
So, as I say, PaperX, they have this very, very good understanding that, of course, after the Chamber gets this kill, they're expecting the Chamber might have TP'd away, so a lot of teams will then, you know, instantly go back and go, okay, well, maybe we can now take this space and start threatening out towards A, right? So once we get that kill from Devi there, you instantly see, here's G2, they're grouping up, they want to come and take this space. Right, but PaperX, again, just such a good understanding, right? So even though we're having to destroy this Fade util that's coming in here and G2 are somewhat aware, Jing is going to just take first swing. They're not expecting the second player to be here. Of course, the Yoru can still potentially get out. Now, something actually did use his second TP and faked it instead because he wanted to be even more aggressive. Getting ahead of this Viper wall, getting really aggressive in here, completely owning this space. That's not something a lot of teams will be able to do. And then obviously forcing G2 to then run into Forsaken, who, you know, kind of mops up and makes the round very, very difficult to win for G2. So there are some good examples for you of how PaperX are able to do this, right? This comp allows you to do this. You have the tools, you have the chamber, you have the fade to clear the path for the chamber, you have multiple agents who potentially can get out, you have a lot of flashes between your Phoenix and Yoru as well, right, to get through the smokes. All of those things allow you to play that aggressively against Viper, whereas most comps can't. But then, of course, the second option for Viper teams is, okay, they're being super aggro out here over towards A, let's just go somewhere else, right? Well, that isn't always a great option either, because you still have to deal with a Yoru or a chamber.
那波默认，但是对面就拉出来了。来看一下这个暗兽，有人去打吗 ？Forsaken 直架，要吃闪了吗？哦，闪光加鬼眼，掩护有标定，贼长，大分。
That's one of the main problems you're gonna run into is you can't just blindly run into other positions. But if we take a look at this round, this is actually a great example where they are still aggressive out towards A PaperX, right? So we still do get the Fade Haunt coming down there. We still got the Yoru being aggressive, getting up to this Viper wall, you know, really, really aggressively and taking this space out towards A. And G2, you know, they think about like kind of going fast, you know, maybe for the C split, but they realize, well, we can't really because we're going to run into the chamber. And that allows then the Yoru to TP across. They're in a great spot, right? They have cleared all of this out. They forced G2 into thinking, yeah, maybe we should go for these other plays. But look at the map. Other plays aren't a good option, right? You're running into the strong side of the map. PaperX have got to exactly the position that they want to be. And Devi is able to absolutely decimate, you know, the C long part of this exec. And eventually PaperX will win this round. And we can see another great example of that in round number 8, where again, G2 in this round are going to say, okay, let's try and explore somewhere else on this map and, you know, just try and avoid them on A. But again, you're having to deal with Yoru and Chamber. And guess what? That's not fun.
Something 开局就交闪吗？还是等了一下，等了1秒，给把狙送出去。哎呦，这个闪，哎呦，正面又架转绕出去，那倒霉蛋会是谁呢？可能会是 Trent。Baby 贝也倒了，闪到了没有？已经是被解决掉了。Trent 的位置是名牌，狙也狙到。
And so you can see pretty much nothing G2 did was able to work against this PaperX defense side. But the thing is, PaperX even demonstrated that in this comp, if they want to, they can even play for the dreaded A retake. In this round, we see that G2 actually do manage to take some space towards A. This is one of those rounds where PaperX, you know, don't aggro out towards A. They've only got the fade out here. Again, take a look at how aggressive we're being out here towards C, though. Always pushing something, always making our opponent think about something, PaperX. They're going to gear up for this A exec. They send the fade out. No one's there. They're going to manage to take the A site. But as I said, PaperX are going to demonstrate that even against, you know, this site with a Viper up, they can still do these retakes.
宇宙分裂连出来，离魂直接踢进来，完了也确定了点内没人了。 给重力之行，看起来是要顶第一波，反手推叶灵，不死鸟人在哪儿？不死鸟，再回一回被打回去了。对，大招已经没了，绕后也被解决掉。这一派正面好像有点超出预料之外啊。那现在变成了一个2v4，2v3，闪跳下来2v2。等一下，1v1了。
Okay, so considering how this started, this is never really a round that PaperX should be able to win. We get some mistakes here from G2 that allows that to maybe be the case. But you see, even as we're going for this retake, right? Yes, PaperX can win it, but you kind of see how hard this is actually to win because they have to use an Astral. They use a Phoenix ult as well. They have a double flank coming as well. As retakes go, they're in a good spot here, right? They've got ults to potentially deal with this thing. They fade ult also in this round, right? So there goes a fade ult also. Even though they use all these ults, you still see how hard it is, right? Like Jing dies there, something dies on the flank. They realize that Forsaken's here. He dies. We actually end up in a 2v5. I mean, this should never really be losable. But from this point, Jing manages to kill Val in there. Okay, that's not a disaster. We're not a disaster just yet. But now 2v4. Again, we should never really lose this, right? He throws a molly down, which means that Trent now... maybe he had nowhere to go. I don't know. But he then ends up fighting on his own because of the Phoenix molly. So here's the Phoenix value for you, right? Like, yeah, the ult didn't find much, but the molly finds a lot. Then the flash through gets that kill on Leaf. Okay, Jogmo trades it and is going to get it traded by Devi. And this is where Baby Bay... I don't really see the reason to ever really fight that there. You know, at that moment, perhaps, you know, maybe the nerves kicking in a bit. But as proof that it wasn't just a fluke, here we get it again in round number 12, because again, similar setup to the round that we just saw, right? Just the one player on A, just the Fade here this time. And again, G2, they're able to come out towards A, and again, there's not really much Envy can do this. He just has to go and let it go. We get the same Fade ult coming out as well, and Envy actually dies. So again, we end up in a 4v5, but this is where the Phoenix is going to come into this round, because again, it's gonna rely on Jing popping off.
伤害很高 ，TP 锚点打掉，我这个只能选择先退，因为他有宇宙分裂，他有大的，在攻回 A 区。 看到了，已经被发现了。哦，something 死之前换了一个，仅需要一个点数，他打都大了，那就能活吗？活下来了。这个腐坏，先奶一口，等缴械。他现在没有闪光，宇宙分裂连接了，2楼跳下来，直接去切2楼楼下。先找烟内，帮队友先走出来，确定对方右边的人的位置。向上有一个瓦列这一波是艺高人胆大，黑也推了，但是被传统2枪头直接死，又有闪光全白。
So this is just an insane round from Jing. He finds value from like all of his Phoenix kit here, right? It starts off with Envy has died, Forsaken's alone on the site. He actually puts up this Phoenix wall for him to be able to leave the site. So that's a great start from Jing in and of itself. Now, G2 are slow enough here to where I think PaperX start to believe that, oh, maybe they've gone elsewhere. You see them start to run off here. So then somebody tries to re-clear the site, maybe thinking they've left. Oh, they haven't left. Flash value, wonderful, manages to get ult. We are going to pop the molly, heal up a bit, then we're going to ult. Oh, in we go as the spike is going down. Jump in, you know, create a lot of pressure. Baby Bay has to run forward, dies to Forsaken, and then at the end of all this, kills there, gets a flashback, gets that kill too. I mean, insane Phoenix round right there to end the half. And you see there, the PaperX showed they could be aggressive and beat that Viper wall. They create a lot of problems for you because you can't just ignore the aggression and go, well, let's just run elsewhere. And retaking, they can also do it. Yeah, maybe they need some ults online to really do it, but they can just wait until they have those ults to then play a retake. You've got problems everywhere you look against this PaperX comp, and they also played against Gen G and also destroyed them on Haven as well today.